In this video we're going to take a walk up Mount Pleasant in Liverpool. There are quite a few Mount Pleasants in this country, and not only here but other countries as well. It seems to be a popular name. On the left hand side is the old 051 club, which building is now derelict basically. But the 051 relates to the dialing code, telephone dialing code for Liverpool, which was 051 back then. It's since changed to 0151. I'm just going to cross the road here so we can get a look at the building on the right hand side. And this used to be the Shaftesbury Hotel, and made famous possibly because it was in a film called Letter to Brezhnev, although it was used for the outdoor filming. Scenes in the film that were made inside the hotel were actually done on a film set. So this used to be the Shaftesbury, and more recently it's been a Tesco's, and now it looks like it's going to be something else. Let's have a look at what it used to look like. This is how I remember the hotel, but when it was first built, it was a lot grander. It looks to me like back when it was first built, it had an extra floor, which has been lost over time. Right, I've crossed the road again now, so we can get a view of Mount Pleasant car park, which has been here since the early 1970s, and a bit of an eyesore really, but serves a purpose. And this is what we lost to gain the car park. I think this was all done around about 1972. We also lost this in 1972 as well. This was the Mardi Gras Club, which opened in 1957. I did read that we lost these buildings because at the time the M62 was going to come straight through into Liverpool city centre. This is now known as Roscoe Gardens, named after William Roscoe. This is actually the graveyard of Renshaw Street Chapel, which is long gone. Renshaw Street being a street directly in front of us from where we're standing here now. The chapel being replaced on Renshaw Street by the Grand Central Hall, which is this building here. But this is what Renshaw Street Chapel used to look like. The chapel was a Unitarian church which William Roscoe and some other famous Liverpudlians used to attend. William Roscoe was born on the 8th of March 1753, and he died on the 30th of June 1831. He was a banker, a lawyer, and briefly a member of Parliament. He's probably best remembered for his major role in bringing to an end the transatlantic slave trade. William Roscoe was born in Liverpool, where his father, who was a market gardener, kept a public house called the Bowling Green here on Mount Pleasant. I'm not quite sure where the property was, but this is a drawing of it. After that little break then, let's continue our walk up Mount Pleasant. And I just thought it would be nice to look back and remember what it looked like prior to the demolitions of the early 1970s, and it's easy to forget what it actually looked like back then. Memories fade quite quickly. As we come to the end of this building here, we come across some very nice Georgian property, and these probably have different uses now. I would imagine some of these were private houses when they were first built. Now they're occupied by businesses and such like. So we're coming up to a building now which I want to discuss a little bit. So to get a good view, I'm going to cross the road. So this is the building here. This was the first YMCA building. It's still a hostel, but this is the first YMCA building in the world. And this is probably a better view. So while we all break into song and do the dance, no, probably best not, let's have a look at some modern art. Lovely. Not quite sure what that actually says, but this is the end of the car park. This was going to be demolished, I believe, because it wasn't making much money, which is strange because every time I came it was packed, couldn't find a parking space. But it's recently gone to being open 24 hours, which is probably a good idea because people come out for evenings here, and I would imagine it's quite busy during the evening and into the night. Right, so back to the other side of the road, and there's another building coming up on our right hand side which may be of interest to all you Beatles fans, because number 64 here used to be a registry office, and this is where John Lennon married Cynthia Powell. Back in 1962, on the 23rd of August, John Lennon married Cynthia Powell at Mount Pleasant Register Office, and the best man was Brian Epstein. George Harrison attended along with Paul McCartney, but John Lennon's Aunt Mimi disapproved of the union and she didn't come. So that's number 64's place in history cemented. We'll continue our walk up Mount Pleasant. So let's turn around and have a look at where we've come from, and that's a view down Mount Pleasant towards the city centre, and some very nice Georgian houses on the opposite side there, or Georgian properties I guess I should say, because they're not all houses these days. Let's take the opportunity to have a look back towards the city centre from a little bit further up Mount Pleasant here. And the Georgian houses on the right hand side, or Georgian properties I guess I should say. Keep saying houses. So if we continue up here, this is the junction with Rodney Street. And I did a video not so long ago, last week I think, about the church and grave of William Mackenzie, which is on Rodney Street. Now this on the left hand side here, this white building, is the Liverpool Inn, which is a hotel, and back in the 60s, in the 70s, that was a hotel back then. Can't remember what it was called though. So that's the view as it was in the 1960s, I think. And now on the left hand side we have what is best known as the Irish Club, but it started its life as the Wellington Rooms, and it was built between 1815 and 1816. Pretty much derelict now. I think it's had some work on its roof, but it's been empty for a long time. It became the Irish Club in 1965, and they moved out sometime in the early 1990s. So that's another one of Liverpool's Grade 2 listed buildings, which is in a state of disrepair. Now on the left hand side, I'm not sure whether we get a shot of it from where I am, but we are now at the location of the Metropolitan Cathedral, Liverpool's Catholic Cathedral, just on our left. Try and get it into the shot. There you go, just a little bit of it there. Right, I'm going to negotiate this crossroads here now. This is a junction with Hope Street on our right, which leads down to the other cathedral. Right, you can get a better view of the Metropolitan Cathedral from here now. Now this fine building here, I don't know what it is. If you know, then I'd be really interested to find out. At the moment it's the Merseyside Medico-Legal Society, but it's been something else in its life as well. Now the one on the other side of the road, which is extremely nice as well, is the Centre for Innovation in Education. So that's on our left there. Centre for Innovation and Education, University of Liverpool. But I think probably that's been something else in its past as well. So we're just going to try and go to these traffic lights here and cross the road without getting run over. That was lucky, lights just changed. So, going to carry along Mount Pleasant. We're nearly at the end of our journey now. Metropolitan Cathedral on the left. Some work being done here as well. It's been going on for quite some time. So apart from the Metropolitan Cathedral on the left, there's not a great deal to see on this stretch of Mount Pleasant. These are university buildings on the right hand side. Now one of the buildings on the right hand side is the University of Liverpool Royal Naval Unit, which I think this is it on the right as we're passing now. Also mixed in with these university buildings is some student accommodation, and one big massive campus. Now this area here that we're walking along, many people will know, used to be the Brownlow Hill Infirmary, or better known possibly as the Brownlow Hill Workhouse, and that was here until 1931. I actually covered it in the video I did about Brownlow Hill, but basically we would be walking just on the edge of it now. It would have been on the left, covering all that area where the Metropolitan Cathedral is today. The workhouse was built between 1769 and 1772, and it was designed to accommodate 600 people, or inmates as they call them. But by 1790 there were over 1,200 people at the institution here. So it was a massive, massive complex. So Brownlow Hill is in sight, and this really is the end of our journey now. So I'd just like to thank you all very much for watching, and just to say as usual, catch up soon.